What's up and welcome back to Austria! Yes, I'm back in Austria, back in quarantine for 10 days. Today, I listened to an amazing podcast while self-isolating here. And there were so many good things in that podcast. It's the Tim Ferris show, one of the recent episodes where he talks with a guy, I don't even remember the name, about, well, the title had Bitcoin and Ethereum in it, so naturally I was like, oh, Tim Ferris, those topics, they interest me, right? So I clicked on it for those topics. Now, the conversation wasn't much about BTC or ETH, but more of a general future outlook, and it's crazy. It was so interesting for me. Like there was so many points. It's a long conversation as well, but so many interesting points from the translucent human, basically humans who make themselves live forever and go out to explore the stars, versus the humans who want to go back to nature. And so interesting conversations, and then the whole US versus China discussion, and what like the one thing that fascinated me most, I think, was this thought of, well, in the future, or let me start differently. Nowadays, we have systems in place, right? We have governments who rule on a local area. Example, Austria, right? We have the Austrian government who makes the rules for Austria. Now, here's the thing. Because of the internet, things become more spread out. Because we don't even know the people like physically close to us. That's not such a big deal anymore. But we might relate to people somewhere on the other side of the planet, right? And then he told other stories about how it gets more in the extremes because of the internet. Anyhow, let's try and focus on one story, please. So, geographical closeness, proximity, that's a better word, is not so important anymore, right? So me, as a free human being, I can go wherever I want. Now, what does it mean? Now we mainly vote by, ballot, casting a vote. A little bit we vote, or some people vote with money, funding advertisement campaigns and donating money to politicians. But in the future, we might just be voting by moving to where we think our values are matched best. So, let's say I'm a person who is pro-crypto. I move to Miami because Miami is pro-crypto. Simple example, because that's one of the examples he gave. I wanted to give one with healthcare, but it's a lot more complicated. Anyhow, the point is, governments might not be that, or might not play that big of a role in the future. We might be casting our votes significantly different. And also, I mean, he did have a long conversation about crypto and the future of this whole transition. Holy shit, I just wanted to point out that I enjoyed listening to this episode, even though it's almost 3 hours long, but with 1.3 times the speed, you can definitely listen to it. And I would encourage that you do it, if one of the things that I just said, even though if that didn't make sense, that's fine, because my brain is all like after this this much input. I just wanted to point it out that I enjoyed listening to that. Maybe you might too. I link it in the description. Okay, and I'll have to spend a bit more time thinking about it. I mean, I have time now in quarantine. Anyhow, I hope you also have time for that. And I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, freedom and health to you, such that you can also cast your vote by moving to wherever you enjoy the regulations.